My name is Tom Rosmarin, and I was 18 when I enlisted in the Army Air Corps, and I was trained as a radio gunner on B-25, and that's in this position here in the waist. The B-25 had 6-man crew, bombardier, pilot, co-pilot, and the waist gunner, and the tail gunner, and the top gunner. This doesn't show it, but it was a turret that would cover the whole hemisphere above. Our targets were to bomb we were stationed in Corsica, and our targets were to bomb keep the Brenner Pass closed at all times, because that's the only way Germans could get into Italy to support their troops. And our missions were targets, bridges, ammunition dumps, railroad marshalling yards, railroad tunnels, and so forth. At Trento, Italy, they had 500 boxcars, and all loaded for the German troops. We got, on one mission, we got all but 8 of them, destroyed all but 8 of them. And our job was to keep the enemy from seeing whatever our altitude was, because with radar they could get it and set their fuses, and then the fuses would go off, and then they had us at that altitude. So we had to follow them up. We had we had a chaff and phosphorus. Chaff was nothing more than Christmas tree tinsel at that time, made of lead foil, and my job here was to chuck it out when the pilot told me to, and it would fill the air with a whole bunch of metal, and then foul up the radar so they didn't have it. So then they went to guessing at our altitude by hand. Well, then we dropped the phosphorus bombs on their gun positions. That was our chaff and phosphorus mission. Had a couple planes that did all that. The rest of the bombers went in and bombed everything. I had several close calls, but I never had a scratch, and I credit that to good Lord, because I was praying all the time. A chunk of flak was aimed right at my head, and instead it hit the wheel strut and glanced off. And other times we were in turbulent air. When we flew on a mission, we had to fly in 6-plane formation, and that's wingtip to wingtip to keep the enemy fighter from coming down through you and breaking up your formation. So one time if you hit rough air, that was so dangerous, very dangerous, because you could collide with the other airplane, wingtip to wingtip. So one time we hit rough air in our airplane, so we throttled back to 150, and they went on to 220. Till we got out of that, then we raced up at 220, and they slowed down a little bit to get us there. And we got to the target. The flight before us got all shot up. We went through, not a shot was fired. And that was because we got there just when they had to reload their guns. And the plane behind us got all shot up so bad that the pilot, he couldn't get out of his seat to bail out. So he ordered the crews to bail out, and he dove the plane in straight into the target. I got this smile on my face for 2 reasons. It was first, and I just finished my mission safely. There's my tent behind it. And second one, there's a whole bunch of mail on my bunk waiting for me to read. So that really, if you got any loved ones in the service, mail call and email is the most thing you can do, and we lived for that, because it takes your mind off all the terror and everything, puts you back home, and we want to hear about what you're doing, not what we're doing. So